So in the last session, we have covered the lifecycle rules and encryption on S3 service, right? Okay. In today's session, we will cover a feature or a concept called bucket policies, a feature available on S3 buckets. So already we are aware of IAM policies, right? What is the IAM policy? What is the use of an IAM policy? IAM policy is a JSON document by using which we can allow or deny some permissions to users. That is what the IAM policies, right? The same way here, we have a bucket policies, which can be applied on the buckets. These are also JSON documents only, and we can call them as JSON-based access control document, which defines what actions are allowed and what actions are denied on a bucket. Obviously, the objects available in the bucket. What exactly that means is, instead of going to each and every user and applying the permissions on each and every user individually to allow access the S3 buckets, we can write a policy on the bucket in which we can define what specific users or what specific AWS accounts can be allowed to read, write, delete on S3 buckets. That is what the bucket policies are. What is the advantage of these bucket policies are? It helps you manage permissions at the bucket level. So you might ask a question like, okay, we have an ACL, access control list, right? With the help of ACL, till now we have made the objects as a public and all. But ACLs can, we can use the ACLs also, but that scope is very limited. You cannot customize it. The reason is, we can use ACL to make the objects public, but you can't make the entire bucket as a public by enabling ACL. With the help of ACL, you can't make the bucket as a public. You have to make each and every object public. But with the help of bucket policy, you can control the permissions at the bucket level itself. Like, you can say the bucket is public, so that whatever the object you upload into that bucket becomes a public. Or you can define, okay, on this bucket, so and so user called user1 can read and write the data. So without assigning any special permissions to user one can read and write the data from that particular S3 bucket. You can do more customizations. That is the advantage of the bucket policies. So let us write down few points, and then we can observe practically like how it works and all. So we can say S3 bucket policy is a JSON based access control document. What is the purpose? That defines what actions are allowed or are denied on a bucket. For specific users. Instead of, like, with the help of ACL, what we have done, we made the entire object as a public. But here we can control the permissions at the bucket level for a specific users, roles, or accounts. That means, with the help of bucket policy, I can allow your AWS account, which means users in your AWS account can read, write the data into my S3 bucket. That is the advantage, like more control at your hands. So it helps you manage permissions at the bucket level, unlike ACLs, which works at the object level. So a kind of an interview question, like, most of the people will get confused with bucket policies and ACLs. Let us say if someone asks you, like, how can you make the entire bucket as a public bucket? The only way is bucket policy, because So they might ask you like, with the help of ACLs also, we can make the bucket public. So you have to answer in such a way that we can't use ACLs at bucket level. Can't use the ACLs at bucket level. What does that mean? With the help of ACL, you cannot convert or you cannot make the bucket as a public. But what we can do with the help of ACL, we can only make the objects public. But with the help of bucket policies, we can make the bucket as a public bucket, or we can control the permissions. We can control the permissions at bucket level. And already I mentioned that the bucket policy is also a JSON based document, right? Okay, so what is the structure? How it looks like? It looks like same as your IAM policy. Same as IAM policy. So what exactly it contains is, it contains a statement like permissions, like allow or deny. Effect, obviously, effect is actually the allow or deny. Principle, action, resources, conditions. We have a number of things which we will cover in the practical session. Okay, so now we will do multiple things. So here, first, what we do is create a bucket policy to make the entire bucket as public bucket. To make the entire bucket as a public bucket. Okay, wait. It seems I did not share my screen, right? If I forgot, just you guys have to remember. Sorry, wait a second. Let me share my screen. Sorry, I forgot to share the screen. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a bucket policy to make the entire bucket as a public bucket. Then we will do another practical, like instead of making the entire bucket as a public bucket, we will allow only one user. We will allow only one user to manage that particular bucket. We will cover that also. Okay, right. So first, let us do the simple bucket policy, and then we can go with some complex bucket policy also, so that you guys will get some more clarity with that. Okay, right. So first, what I do is create a default bucket. Default bucket in the sense, don't change any options. Don't enable ACL, don't disable block all public access. Create a default bucket. Let us say bucket policy, today's date 10th October 2025. Then upload any object and observe that the observe that the objects are private by default. Then create a bucket policy to allow public access or I can say to make the bucket as public bucket. Public bucket is anybody can view anything. Now upload a new object and observe that existing and the new objects are public by default. Okay, right. So here you might have a questions. You might have a few questions. What are those questions? Let us say if we are not using a bucket policy, then how we can make the objects as a public? With the help of a ACLs, right? We must enable ACL if we are using other than the bucket policies option. And then other one, we need to disable block all public access. So here, with the help of bucket policy, we don't need any ACLs because we are not using ACLs to manage the permissions of the bucket. So no need to enable ACL. And here, do we need to enable, or sorry, do we need to disable block all public access? Obviously, yes. The reason is, with the help of bucket policy, what we are doing, we are making the bucket as a public. But if this option is enabled, it will not allow you to create a public bucket policy. Okay, that we will observe. So here, what I do is At this stage, disable block all public access feature on the S3 bucket. Okay, right. So now let us see step by step. Let us go with the creation of a bucket, S3 bucket. How to create, navigate to the S3. This is just simple bucket policy. Then we will see some complex bucket policy also. So you will get some clarity on that. Okay, let me click on create bucket. And here, this is the bucket name. I'm going to keep all options as it is. Click on create bucket, right? And what I do is I will check whether the object is a public object or not. So how? First, we need to upload an object. Let me upload an object. Any object, that doesn't matter. Let me click on upload. An object is getting uploaded and done. How to access the object? Click on the object, get the object URL, and even I am sharing the object URL in the chat box, and you guys can check that the object is a private object. Okay. So here, let me enter the object URL and we will get access denied. Now you might ask a question. What if I change the option called this one? If I made it off, block public access to be off, like disable, does it make the object public? No, even we will verify that. Still, your objects are private and the bucket is a private. And here, if you see, click on buckets. This is the bucket, right? This is the bucket. If you click info, you can see the info about the objects and all. So now what we do is, what is the next step? Already we disabled this one. Already we disabled it. We uploaded the object and we observed the object is a private. Now we need to create a bucket policy. Now you might worry about, okay, I don't know writing the JSON script and all. No need to worry, because Amazon is providing policy generator. With the help of the policy generator, we can generate all the policies. Or you can rely on the documentation website of the AWS, docs.aws.amazon.com, where you can get complete information about all AWS services. Okay, you can go to Amazon S3, and here you can click on user guide. And somewhere here, you can check for policies, permissions, or something. There it is. Okay. Okay. I will do here bucket policy. Or I will do one thing. S3 bucket policy. Just I will search in the Google. I don't want to go into any other website. Just always I will prefer docs.aws.amazon.com, official Amazon AWS documentation. Let me click here. So here, where it is, okay, under access controller, bucket policy examples. Okay, here you can click it. So I will show you the example. So granting read-only permission to a public anonymous user, right? Okay, let me click here. Let me click here. Now it takes you to the page. Okay, see here. Not this one. Where is the policy? They offers. They will show some policy examples also. Just I'm trying to get a policy example. This is like require SSC KMS. Okay, that's a different one. Managing buckets using Candice here. This is like cross account permission to upload objects. Means I can allow your AWS account to upload objects into my S3 bucket. This is the example how it looks like. So here, what all we have to change is this is the effect is allow principal. This is going to be your AWS account ID. I need to get your AWS account ID and I need to replace it. Action, not all actions, only put object means you can upload it. Resource, to which S3 bucket? To which S3 bucket? These all these are the examples. So this is another example. Allow a user to read only objects that have a specific tag key and value. Means instead of making all objects as a public objects, right? I can allow the user, which user, this particular user, John Doe, from this AWS account will be allowed to get the object and object version. Means he can read the object and all the versions of the object from this particular S3 bucket and all objects of the S3 bucket. But there is a condition. What is the condition? What there might be thousands of objects, but he can only read the objects with a tag called environment is a production. Okay, right. Also, you can see n number of examples here. Now let us create the policy. How to create the policy? Click on the bucket on which you would like to create the bucket policy. Then go to the permissions tab. Here you can see an option, bucket policy. The bucket policy written in JSON provides access to the objects stored in the bucket. Now here we need to click on edit here. And here you can see this is the bucket ARN. ARN stands for Amazon resource name, a unique name to identify the Amazon resource. Now here you need to write the policy in JSON format, but I don't know how to write and what to write. So here we have an option. Add new statement, right? You can click here, see here, a new statement. So here you can write, you can plug in all the values, whatever you want. Even I don't know anything there. How we can do? See here, there is one option called policy generator, right? Policy examples. Already we opened the policy examples, right? So policy generator, let me click on policy generator, which opens a new tab here. With the help of AWS policy generator, we can generate the bucket policy as per our requirement. Okay, what type of policy we are generating? We are not generating IAM policy. What policy? S3 bucket policy. Select that one. Statement. What is the effect? Effect should be allow. Means I want to allow. I want to allow. Principal. Principal means whom you would like to allow. Principal means whom you would like to allow. User 1 or user 2. In my case, I want to allow everyone. Means I would like to mention that with a star. Star means anyone, anonymous user. You don't have an account on my AWS account, right? But still you can see my objects if I allow anonymous access. So you are going to be anonymous user. Now, what actions you would like to allow? If you want to allow only specific actions, you can select the options. Create job, delete bucket, delete object, or get access point, get bucket list, get bucket policy, or get object. Get object means read. That is more than enough. Now, what I do is I will select checkbox, means all actions and all resources, but I don't want to allow all resources. I want to allow on a specific bucket, right? Okay, so here let me go back to the previous what we call that example, right? So resource is going to be the ARN of the S3 bucket. So here all resources in the sense he can access anything, but I want to allow a specific S3 bucket. Copy the bucket ARN. Here is the bucket ARN. Enter it, and you must add /* star. Means all objects in that particular S3 bucket will be allowed for all actions, read, write, delete, anything. That is what this resource is. Then here you can click on generate policy. So what happened? Add one or more statements above to generate a policy. What we missed? Okay, add statement. Click on the add, wait, add statement in the sense we added that statement here. Principal star, affect allow, actions you can see S3 colon star means all actions of the S3 related thing. On which bucket? On this bucket, on all objects. Conditions, no conditions. Now click on generate policy. See here, this is the policy. Let me copy this policy. Now I will go back to here and I will paste it. So what is this SID? Statement one. Any name you can use, ABC, XYZ, doesn't matter. And effect is allow, means user will be allowed. Which user? Star indicates anonymous user. Any user will be allowed to perform all actions of S3 on this particular S3 bucket and all objects of that particular S3 bucket. Now click on Save Changes. Now bucket policy is applied on the S3 bucket. Now, if you go to the object URL and if you refresh, that objects become a public object. See here, we did not modify anything. Because of the bucket policy, the objects became a public object. Now, let me upload one more object, and that also going to be a public object. Upload, add files. So let me choose, yep, this one. Click on upload. I did not selected anything to make it up public or something. Automatically, this object will become a public object. Get done. Now let me get the object URL. This is the object URL. Let me share in the chat box so that you guys can also check. See here. This is how you can make any objects as a public. Now, you guys got a question. I don't want to allow anonymous users to access and all. So first, let us talk about simple use case, some scenario. Based on that, let us create a bucket policy. Okay. So first thing here, this is our S3 bucket. Okay. In which I uploaded an object called image.jpg. Image.jpg. And now here I disabled block all public access. Okay, disabled block all public access, and also I disabled ACL. Okay, now here there is a user. We will create that user. I will name that user as Krishna. And for this user, I created an IAM policy. I applied an IAM policy. Okay. And this policy will allow the user list buckets and list objects. List buckets and a list objects means he can see the list of buckets in the AWS account. He can see the list of objects in the S3 bucket, all S3 buckets. Now my question is, if this particular user called Krista is trying to select image.jpg and he is trying to download that image.jpg or open the image.jpg, is it possible or not? Is he able to? view the image.jpg file or not. So do you guys know the difference between the list and get permissions? Let me make it simple. The difference between the list and get. List in the sense, this is what the list. You can see the list of objects. If I have only the list permission, if I double click it, if I try to open, I can't open. I will get an error. If I have the get permissions, then only I can open that particular file. That is the difference between the list and get. Okay. Now let me know. Does this user called Krishna can open the image.jpg or not? Is he able to open the image and can he see the image or not? Obviously, no, right? You have to respond. You have to, whether you are responding correct or wrong, that doesn't matter. Okay. You have to respond for the questions. Then you can understand better. Obviously, based on this, he can see the image, but he can't open and he can't download that image. Now, let us verify this scenario. Then the second stage is I want to allow this particular user, to open the image or to upload the image, or let us make it simple. Okay, it seems you guys get confused with list and get. Okay. So I have provided S3 read access. S3 read access. What does that mean? This user called Krishna can read the data from the S3 bucket, but he cannot upload any object and he cannot delete any object. Is that correct or not? Do you guys agree with my statement? The user Krishna can read the data from the S3 bucket, but he cannot upload a new object and he cannot delete any objects, right? Is that correct? I guess this example is going to be the easy. Yeah. So now what my requirement is, with the help of a bucket policy, I want to create a bucket policy, to allow user Krishna with full access. Let us make it more easy and more simple. So there is another user, let us say Manoj. Okay. And here also we are going to apply the same policy. The same IAM policy we are going to attach on user Manoj. Now here, what exactly is going to happen? Assume there is no bucket policy. Now the Krishna and Manoj can read the data from the S3 bucket. Now I'm going to apply a bucket policy on the S3 bucket so that only the user called Krishna can upload and delete the data from the S3 bucket, but Manoj cannot. If you see the IAM, as per the IAM policy, both users are sharing the same permission, but on the S3 bucket, we applied a policy to allow user called Krishna to write and delete. Let me make it simple. Let us say there is a building. At the main entrance, there is a biometric device. Okay. So every time you are entering into the bucket, there is a face recognition technology. So everyone, or there is a card swiping machine. So the company provided every employee with a swiping card. So they will like swipe the card and they will enter. That is what the IAM policy. What if the company set up a security person and they inform that, okay, if a person called Krishna is coming, please allow him. Now, whenever the user called Krishna is entering, without having a swipe card, he can enter because the security person physically verifies that, okay, you are the user called Krishna and you are allowed to enter. That is what the bucket policy. Instead of carrying a swiping card, we are informing at the entry of the S3 bucket that if a user with a username called Krishna is performing any action, please allow irrespective of whether there is a IAM policy or not. Okay, right. So first, keep the bucket policy aside and let us verify this scenario. Let us verify this scenario. Then we will go with the bucket policy scenario also. So here, first thing, we will check a read access. Both can read the data. So for that, first what we do is uh, create two users. Create two users. Let us say Krishna and Manoj, and provide S3 read only access. Then create S3 bucket. Create S3 bucket. And what we can do and upload an object. Now log in as both users and confirm the following. The first one is both users can read the objects from the S3 bucket. Now, both users cannot upload or delete objects from S3 bucket, right? Now, what is the requirement? Create a bucket policy to allow the user Krishna with full access on the S3 bucket. Only user Krishna, S3 bucket. Then what we have to do? We need to create a bucket policy and all. Then log in as Krishna and verify that he can upload objects into S3 bucket, and then log in as user Manoj and verify that he cannot upload or delete objects from the S3 bucket, because with the help of bucket policy, we only allowing the user called Krishna. So are you guys clear what exactly we are going to perform? If you guys are clear, then only we will proceed with the practical. This is the most important topic. Bucket policies are most important topic, because majority of the time, if you search in the YouTube or anywhere, they might show you the bucket policy with a simple example like make the objects read only for anonymous users. There is a very rare chance that you might get a video on customized bucket policies, custom access and all. But in the real time, we use these kind of bucket policies. We don't use ACLs much. We use bucket policies. So are you guys clear with the concept as of now? Or are you guys clear what exactly we are going to perform? Okay. Now let us go with this first one. This is a very easy thing. Everybody knows it, right? No, sorry, it's already done, right? Okay, let us do with this one. Provide S3 read-only access. Okay. First, let us verify, is there the policy called S3 read-only access or not? And then we can create those two users. So how? First, we need to navigate to IAM service. So go to policies. In the search, let us type S3. If the policy doesn't exist, we need to create. We need to create the policy as per our requirement. Okay, S3. See here, S3 read-only access, right? If you click plus, you can see the users will be allowed get, list, describe, read-only permission. That's enough for us. Okay, now let us go with the user creation. click on users. Let me click on create user. Let me say the username as Krishna. I would like to provide user access, management console access. I am user. Let me use a custom password so that it will be easy for me to log in. Next, attach policies directly. Let me search for a policy, S3 read-only access. See here, this is the policy which can provide read-only access to the users, and click on create user. Okay, now we are going to create this user. So now what I have done, I created the user and I attached the policy. Now you might say, okay, create the user Manoj and apply the same policy, right? Can you mention a different way to create the user and provide the permissions? In how many ways we can provide the permissions to the user? One, attach a policy directly, add the user to a group, but we don't have any group yet, right? So there is an option that we can copy the permissions from one user to another user. Whatever the permissions already applied on the user Krishna will be applied to the user Manoj. Let us see that way also. A different way to create the user or getting the permissions. See here, click on create user. Username is going to be Manoj. So here, what I do is I selected the copy permissions and I will select the user called Krishna. What are the policies applied on the Krishna user? Amazon S3 read-only access. So the same permissions will be automatically applied to the user called Manoj also. Click on next, create user, and done. Now let us, what is the next thing? Create a bucket, upload an object, and verify that both users can read, but they cannot write. So let me go to S3, search for S3, navigate to the S3 service. And if you got any doubt or if you are unable to understand, just click on the raise hand button so that you can unmute and you can ask the question. Click on create bucket. Okay, all default options, create bucket. Okay, now what I do is I will log in as user Krishna and with the Manoj and all. Okay, first I need to get the login details also. They need to get the IAM link, like user sign in link, at least the what we call that sign in link and all. Okay, here account alias. I'm okay with this. So now I'm going to log in as aws.amazon.com. First, I will log in with the user called Krishna. Then I will log in with user Manos. Sign into console. And the user with which I'm trying to log in is an IAM user. He is not a root user, right? Okay. So sign into the console. Okay. So here the cloud learn is the account alias, username, Krishna, password. I know the password. Click on sign in. How can we say that we logged in with the user called Krishna? See here, you can see the username on top right corner, Krishna. Okay. Now let me navigate to S3 service. So I can see the list. Click on custom, wait, click on this bucket custom policy 10 October 2025. Oh, we did not upload an image, right? Okay, wait. Let me go to the root user. So upload an object. We missed this one. Let us upload an object. I'm uploading as a root user. We need to verify that the uploaded object is accessible by these two users. That is the requirement. That is the use case or scenario. Okay. object is available in the bucket. Let me minimize it. Let me switch to the user Krishna. Yep. So let me refresh. He can list. Let me check, is he able to view or not? Click the image, click on open. If the image is loaded, that means the user got read permission. Okay. At the same way, let me try with the user Manoj also. I'm signing out as a Krishna and I will log in as a Manoj. Oh, even we did not verify that he cannot upload and all, right? Okay. We will check that also. If Manoj is unable to upload, the same way. Okay, Manoj. I will log in again as a Krishna user or first let us complete that. So again, I am logging in as a Krishna just to confirm that he cannot upload any data. He cannot upload any object into the S3 buckets. Then only we can say that he can upload because of the bucket policy. Already we verified that he can view, he can open. Now we need to confirm that he cannot upload or delete. First, let me try to upload an object. Here you can see with which user I logged in, Krishna. Upload, add files, upload. What happened? Upload failed. What is the error? Access denied. You don't have permission to upload files and folders. So the user Krishna cannot upload. Or even if you want to try, you can try deleting the existing object also. Select the object, click on delete. For that, I need to type permanently delete. Let me copy paste. Delete object. I should get access denied. Okay, now let me log out and let me log in as a user called Manoj. This might be a little bit lengthy session because we can't stop in between a practical, right? So we might extend the session by like 10 minutes or so. So let me log in as a Manoj. So here you can see I logged in as user Manoj S3. Let me check that he is also able to view the data, but he cannot upload or he cannot delete. Okay, let me get into the bucket. He can list. Let me select the object, click on open. Yes, right. Now let me try to delete. See here, he can't. Let me try to upload also. Right. So here we verified these things. We verified that he can read, cannot upload, cannot delete. The same way here also. Can read, cannot upload, and he cannot delete. Now what we are going to do, we are going to create a bucket policy to allow Krishna user with full access. What does that mean? This Krishna user can be allowed to upload, to delete, but he is not supposed to upload or delete. That is what the requirement is. And how the Krishna user will be allowed to upload and delete? Because of the bucket policy, right? Okay, so let us create the bucket policy. To create the bucket policy, this is what we are going to do. To create a bucket policy, we need the ARN of the S3 bucket. What are the things we need to collect? First thing, to create the bucket policy, we need to note down the ARN of the S3 bucket. What is the ARN stands for? ARN is Amazon resource name, which is a unique identifier of the resource. Like how we have a names, right? Actually, the names are not unique. So if you register for some graduation or something, they will assign a registration number, right? That is your unique identification, like a roll number kind of. So here, to identify the Amazon resources, ARN is a unique identifier. This is what we need. So how to get the ARN of the S3 bucket? Let me show you. How to collect the ARN is, for which bucket we would like to create the bucket policy. Click on the bucket, then go to Properties tab. Here you can see the Amazon resource name, ARN. Copy it. Let me paste here. Let us use this after some time. Now it's time to create our bucket policy. How to create the bucket policy? Here already we have a policy generator. Let me close it and let us reopen it. So first go to the permissions tab of that particular S3 bucket. And you see still the block all public access is on. I haven't disabled it yet. Now click on edit. Now policy generator. What type of policy? S3 bucket policy. Effect is allow. Principal means whom you would like to allow. Every user or a specific user. We are planning to allow a single user, right? So here you need to mention the ARN of the user also. Means to create the bucket policy, we need to note on the ARN of the S3 bucket. Then to allow a specific user, we need the ARN of the IAM user whom you would like to allow. Even every user will have a ARN. How to get the ARN? Just go to IAM service. Let me open a new tab. If it is an anonymous user, we can replace with star. But here we are going to allow a specific user, right? How to get the ARN of the user? Go to users, click on the username, and here is the ARN. See here, copy. This is the ARN of the user. Okay, let me copy it. Let me go to the bucket policy. Earlier, we entered star here, means it will allow everyone, but I don't want to allow everyone. So I will enter the ARN of the user. If you want to allow multiple users, comma, the other users ARN also. Okay, or add 100 users into a group, enter the ARN of the group also. Actions, what actions? I would like to allow all actions. On which resource? On which resource? Not on all resources. On a specific S3 bucket. This is the S3 bucket. Then /star means he will be allowed to perform all actions on the S3 bucket and all its objects. And all its objects. Or you can say, let me show you. First enter the bucket, then use comma, space, again bucket /star. We are allowing the user to perform all actions on the bucket and all objects of the bucket. Now click on add statement that is getting added here. See here. Then click on generate policy. This is the policy. Let me copy it. Go back to our bucket policy edit. Paste. Click here. If there is any errors, let us say here, I will remove this comma at the 9th line. Then what happened? There is one error. There is an error. What is the error? JSON syntax error. Line 10, column 6. Here. Now it will be done. You can click on this preview external access, and there is something like access analyzer service by using which what exactly it will does. It will display that, okay, so and so user, Krishna user can perform all actions on this so and so bucket. Okay, now scroll down, click on save changes. So we created the bucket policy, right? Now, what we have to do, we need to verify, right? Okay, now let me log out as a user Krishna, and let us verify that he got upload permissions, delete permissions, and all or not. Then we will log in with the user Manoj, and we will verify that he did not get any extra permissions. So I logged in, and let me go to S3. And also this bucket policy. Okay, let us complete this one. Then I will ask you a question also. So get into the bucket. Still he can read. Let me upload another object. I'm uploading two objects. Wait, what is the existing object name? Image 3. Okay, let me upload two different objects now. Add files, image 4, add files. Image. I'm uploading two objects. Click on upload. What is the status? Uploading. Then we will try to delete an object also. The object which is uploaded by a different root user. Let us try that also. See here, succeeded. You can see I uploaded as a user Krishna. Let me try to delete the object which was uploaded by the root user or a different administrator. Yes, is he able to delete? Yes. Now let us verify with the user Manoj also. If the Manoj is also able to upload and delete, there is no point of this session. Whatever we learned is wrong, right? Okay, now let us log in with the user Manoj and let us verify. What all we have done now? We logged in as a user Krishna and verified that he can upload objects and he can delete. Upload and delete. Now we are uploading as Manoj and we should verify that he cannot upload or delete. Okay, let me get into the S3. First, let me verify that this user is able to read the objects uploaded by the user Krishna or not. Okay, custom policy, image uploaded by the user Krishna. Open, like read permission I'm testing. Yes, he is able to read. The other object also. Yes, he is able to read. Okay, now let me try delete option. Select the object, click on delete. I need to type permanently delete. See here, he can't delete. Let me try to upload. Upload failed. Right? Okay, now we verified that this particular user Krishna is able to upload and delete the objects from the S3 bucket. Why? Because bucket policy allows the user Krishna to do that, but Manoj cannot upload or delete the objects from the bucket. Let us say this name is the name of this bucket is bucket 1. Now there is another bucket Everyone should respond with your answers. Now there is another bucket, S3. Let us say the name is bucket 2. Okay. Now the question is, what all actions can be performed by the user Krishna and Manos? Okay, first question. Does these two users can read the data from bucket 2 or not? Yes or no? Does these two users can read the data from the bucket 2? Can they read or not? Just give me your answer. Does these users can read the data from any other bucket in the same S3 bucket, same AWS account? Yes or no? He can or they can't? So have you got the question or still get confused? Yes, they can read. Why? Why they can read? Because of this IAM policy. This IAM policy allows these users to read the objects from any S3 bucket. Yes, let us verify that also, because I logged in here with the user Krishna. Let me go to S3. Yeah, let me go to this bucket. And here, let me select this, open. Yes, I can read. Correct. Whatever the response you have given is correct. Now, the other question. Does these two users can upload an object or not? Which user can upload and which user cannot upload? Which user can upload? Does the user Krishna can upload objects into S3 bucket? Does this user can upload an object into the other bucket? No, that's correct. They can't upload. Let us verify. No one. Yeah, both the users cannot upload. Why? Because there is no bucket policy which allows any of these users to upload or download. Let us verify that practically. So let me, here I logged in with the user Krishna. Let me click on upload, add files. Let me choose a different image, upload. Wait. One second. On which bucket we are? Sorry, guys. Actually, this bucket is a public bucket, right? I took the wrong example. Sorry. I took the wrong example. Okay, let me go to a different bucket, this bucket. Let us go to a different bucket. I will explain why the user is able to. Anybody can upload to that bucket because there is already a public the bucket policy. Let me show you. Sorry for the confusion. This is the bucket, right? But the concept, what you understood is correct. Why the user is able to upload is in the permissions, there is a bucket policy which will allow anyone to upload. That's why he is able to upload. Okay. Sorry for that. I took a wrong bucket. There is a bucket policy already exist. Let me go to a different bucket. Yeah, this is the bucket. No data, no issues. Let me click on upload, add files, upload. See here, they can't. They cannot. Actually, I took a wrong bucket. On this bucket, already there is a bucket policy, right? That's why he was able to upload. Why he is unable to upload to the different bucket 2 is on the bucket, there is no exclusive policy to allow any of these users to upload the objects, or at least there should be an IAM policy which allows S3 upload and S3 delete. If there is such kind of policies, then there is no need of this bucket policy. Without the bucket policy, these users can upload data into any S3 bucket. Okay, this is what the bucket policies are. This is what the bucket policies are. So are you guys clear with the bucket policies or any questions? Is that clear or any confusion with the bucket policies concept?